Just when we thought things couldn't get worse, the Braves find a way. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That's Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Both of us are eager to get back to work because that means we can just get distracted from this. The Atlanta Braves, Jake, lose the series finale 11-10. And in case some of you turned the game off, when it was 10-4 entering the ninth inning, Arizona scores 7 runs in the ninth, some of those coming off of closer Raisel Iglesias, and takes the series finale. Jake, we said last night that this felt like rock bottom. Are you surprised that they found another level to go to? And genuinely, what could have been worse than finally getting the offense and somehow still losing the game?
I don't know what can be worse than this. Again, Wednesday's game was bad just because they tried to hand it to you and you couldn't take it. This one, you had it in hand. It was yours. You had a 6-run lead and you let it get away. And look, it's maybe a little bit different if you already won the first 2 games of this series. If you're playing a little bit better, you had to have this game just to not get swept and to avoid losing, the 4th straight game in the month of June. You still haven't won a game this month. And it's just, am I surprised that they found a new rock bottom? No, because that's what they did to us last year. Last year, it felt like, they lose that game to the White Sox. That's rock bottom. But then they'd find something else that just completely, you didn't see coming. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. We got a lot of podcasts, a lot of postcasts left this year. And I just don't know what else to say about this team and how poorly they are playing and how surprising it is to see. Because again, last year you could blame it all on the excuses. Those excuses are behind you. You have got to be better than this. And I get it. They didn't do enough in the offseason to get bullpen help. There's still enough there to hold a 6-run lead. It's just, it is an all-time low for this Atlanta Braves team right now.
Yeah. This reminds me, and a shout out to Paul, one of the followers and subscribers of the newsletter, who sent me a thing. This reminds us of the loss at Colorado last season. I think it was the Sunday getaway day where Joe Jimenez and Raisel Iglesias, maybe in the 8th inning, blow a giant lead. But the difference, to your point, is you have all of your guys. Everybody's healthy. Except for Jimenez, everybody's healthy. You have your lineup. You are at home. And listen, I'm trying to figure out a way to do this postcast without either getting fired by Locked On or fined by the FCC. So just understand that, people. There's things we can't say here, but I genuinely don't know. I'm almost thinking I would have rather been no hit. At least it would have been the same problem. But to finally get the signs of life, to finally, it's a 3-homer game. You had a bunch of hits with runners in scoring position. I think it was you were 6 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Alex Verdugo hit a double. Nick Allen hit a double. You actually got offense. You got good offense, 12 hits, 10 runs. You were efficient with the scoring. You cashed in the opportunities. And then to still lose that game, is there any way for a team to come back from something like this? Emotionally, mentally, is there a way to come back from a loss this bad?
Yeah, to your point, they did it last year against the Rockies, and they said it on the broadcast after that game. They went on to win their next 5 series. So look, it's baseball, and you're as good as your next day's starter. They could, go out to San Francisco, win game 1 of that series, and you kind of put all this behind you. But I think the problem with it here is that you've dug yourself a hole, kind of like what I started out saying. You lose a game like this when you're playing okay, you're at 500, above 500, you lose like this, it's going to sting, but you can recover from that a little bit quicker. You're already in a huge hole. And so to give away games like this, and like the one you did on Wednesday, where they were basically trying to hand it to you, it just can't happen when you're already put yourself in this position. So it's baseball. They could bounce back and win tomorrow, and you flush it and go on. These are professional players, but I also mentally, I just do wonder where this team is after everything that happened last year, the way they're playing this year. I do think there's a mental component to it. But what do you do, Lindsay? I see all the comments, fire Snit. Snit didn't give up 7 runs in the 9th inning. I mean, I don't know what more you could have done. I was fully on board. Let Scott Blewett finish this thing, save your bullpen arms, and then you quickly got to get Rysel up. And I don't know what Snit could have done differently in this one. I thought it was aggressive to go ahead and get Holmes out of there early when it looked like he was starting to fall apart and go to Aaron Bummer. So I get it. Coaches are the ones they're the easiest to replace and get rid of and blow things up whenever the players are playing bad. But the players are playing bad. And until that changes, I mean, this team's going to continue to struggle the way that they are. And there's just really, unless you're just going to blow it up, which isn't going to happen in the beginning of June, it's just nothing's going to change.
Yeah. I mean, this is something at this point. I mean, I understand everybody's saying like going to Rysel Iglesias was wrong, even like without hindsight. You went to your closer. There can be a conversation about having somebody else be the closer. And we had that conversation last night about who else do you use as a closer. But to your point, Snit managed this game almost like a playoff game. Like it's in October where you see guys come out, after 4 innings as they get into the second time through the order, things like that to replace. And it's hard to argue that Snit pushed the wrong buttons here. This loss has to come back on the players, just like last night's loss has to come back on the players. And I'm not defending Snit, but I don't think there's anything here to defend. Like there's nothing bad or good. It was fine. Like coaching did not change the outcome of this game.
Coaching doesn't blow a 6-run lead. Players do. Like I saw somebody say they let Blewett in too long. I mean,
it's a 6-run lead.
It's a 6-run lead, and I think the line is okay. He's not going to face the top of the order, and that was the line, and I understand that. And you could see Craney saying just throw a fastball right down the middle, and Blewett unfortunately couldn't. Yeah. And it's just again, you still had a big enough lead that I think that was okay, and I think the point was, okay, he can't get back to the top of the order. And you go with Iglesias. And look, I'm not going to sit here and defend Iglesias. I said it last night. I just can't anymore.
No.
Can't. But the hit by Corbin Carroll, I thought that's a weak pop-up to center field. That ball just kept carrying. I mean, that is a changeup down and away off the plate. The lefty is reaching for it. Corbin Carroll just has some sneaky power, and then it's just death by a million paper cuts. It is just a ball that gets through the infield. You have the infielder shifted over. Ketel Marte, just like he did the night before, shoots it the other way. But we talked about him ditching that slider, which he has now done. I don't think he can be the same pitcher without that slider, Lindsay. That's what the results are telling us right now, especially against righties. If he has any confidence in throwing a slider, he strikes out Eugenio Suarez. Because if I'm Suarez, I'm thinking I'm either getting a sinker down and in or I'm getting a changeup down and in. He set on that. It was a sinker, or no, it was a changeup down and in off the plate. But again, he knows that's where this pitch is going to be because you can only throw those 2 pitches, and he's able to keep it fair. And it's just, I don't think Iglesias can be the same type of pitcher without that slider. And it's just, it hasn't proven to be successful for him just ditching that pitch. And I don't think he can be the same guy not having that pitch that can move horizontally right to left for you.
Yeah. It's hard for any major league pitcher to not have a breaking ball and be successful, especially a right-handed pitcher. To your point of them not being fooled, he threw 12 changeups. They swung at 9 of them. They whiffed on 4. The other 5 got put into play. And to your point on the Corbin Carroll thing, not all of them were in the zone. What is this? 3 of the 12 were in the zone. 33% zone rate. He threw 9 fastballs or 9 changeups out of the zone, and they still did everything that they did.
But they know it's coming. Like I said, when you limit your arsenal, they know it's coming.
And his stuff, like Chris Sale limits his arsenal, but his stuff is so good that he can still get away with it. Rysel Iglesias without a slider just can't do that. All right. In just a second, let's talk about Grant Holmes. Let's talk about the offense. Let's talk about what happens now, because I do think there are a lot of questions that have to be answered for this team. We'll do that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. The finals start tonight, but let's talk baseball. Listen, every night, highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, can't miss moments. It could be a game-winning hit, a breakout player, maybe a no-hitter. Like, there's never been a better time to get in on the action than with FanDuel. They make it easy to stay in the game, both before first pitch and live. Player props, performance trends, same-game parlays, lots of ways than ever to play smart and win big. And what's a ton of fun is you can go in there and see all of the individual player awards. We've talked before about the National League Rookie of the Year. The favorite is Drake Baldwin of the Atlanta Braves, plus 200 to win National League Rookie of the Year. They do not have odds for Comeback Player of the Year yet, but I did notice Ronald Acuna Jr. is on the board at plus 8,000 for MVP. Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna Jr. have the same odds of winning MVP. Behind Ronald is Ketel Marte, who homered twice in this series and was a third-place finisher for MVP last year. He is behind Ronald Acuna Jr. in the MVP odds on FanDuel. So if you're new to FanDuel, this is the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. So make every moment more with FanDuel. All right, Jake, you touched on this a minute ago. Grant Holmes comes out of this game early. He makes it 3 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And this was a sign of Snit being very aggressive and managing this game like it was a postseason game. Eugenio Suarez singles, Lourdes Gurriel strikes out, and then they go ahead and go to Aaron Bummer. Start of you're going on the road. You don't have an off day till next Thursday. Was this a little too aggressive? Was this one of those, we have a lead, it's somewhat comfortable, you had just had the 5-run inning the inning before, and you wanted to shut this down? Like, is this a defensible decision here?
I think it is, just because you couldn't let things get any worse. I mean, you let Grant Holmes keep going, and next thing you know, the game's tied. I mean, that's indefensible there. When you've already lost the first 2 games of the series, you got to try to find a way to get a win. And I thought it was the right move, especially with the way that it worked out. I mean, Bummer was great. De Los Santos was fantastic. It really just came down to that 9th inning. So yeah, I think it was certainly the move. You hate it. I mean, for your offense to go out there and give you a 6-run lead, and then for Grant Holmes to come out there and walk the first 2 batters, that it can't happen. And I get it. It's a long inning. We see that happen when pitchers sometimes are sitting on the bench for a while, the big half inning, and then they're a little cold coming out, but throw it down the middle. And again, I know that's easier said than done, which sounds crazy, but I mean, I don't think Grant Holmes is trying to throw the ball out of the zone there. And you can't be too picky with your pitches when you're given a 6-run lead. You just can't walk. It can't happen. And Grant Holmes knows that. But then to couple that too with giving up all the hits and just never was able to really recover. And you could kind of see it. He wasn't able to recover and get things back under control. And so I think Snitker had to go with it, unfortunately, and start working that bullpen early.
Yeah. And part of me kind of wonders if having to go to the pen so early, having to get multiple innings out of Bummer and De Los Santos, if they felt like that constrained them a little bit, where they needed to get 2 out of Blewett. But to your point earlier, Blewett was fine in the 8th. Like, it makes sense. A lead that big, it makes sense to run him out there for 1 more inning. Again, everybody keeps, I keep reading the comments as we go. It's hard. Like, I understand the idea of, if you want Snit gone as like a scapegoat, he didn't actually do anything to lose this game. This is all on the team. Did the offense show you something today? Because again, Atlanta has 12 hits. They score 10 runs. And it's nice to see you get 5 doubles. You get another 3 home runs. Feels like it's the first time you've hit 3 home runs since, I want to say, maybe earlier mid-May. And almost like, I think everybody in the lineup has a hit, at least 1 hit. So did you see something different from the lineup today? Does it feel like this was in any way sustainable, or was this just a good game against a struggling pitcher in Brandon Pfaadt for the first time?
I think it's a little bit of a both. I mean, there were definitely some good at bats in there, but it is a guy that didn't even record an out his last time pitching because he got absolutely lit up. And I
By
think the Braves
Washington.
yeah. So I think the Braves just kind of took advantage of that. And then, they had already won the first 2 games of the series. So they just threw Tommy Henry out there to let him eat some innings for them. And the Rays were able to get a couple more runs there. So they're definitely, some of the worst pitching that they're probably going to see here for a little bit, especially to go out to San Francisco, which is really good at pitching. So, but I thought the at-bats were good. I continue to be impressed by Ozzie. You asked me about a week ago, did I think there was something real here with Ozzie? And at that time I said, I don't know, because we're not really seeing the power, and we're still not, although he did get the double today, but you are seeing the walks and you're seeing a better approach. You're seeing better discipline. I posted it on social. It was right after an at-bat where Ozuna takes a called strike 3 on a pitch right down the middle. And I said, you just can't do that. You can't be guessing on 2 strikes. And too many of these Braves hitters do that. And then Ozzie goes up there. What does he do? He falls behind, but then he fouls off some pitches. He works the at-bat, he gets back into it, and then he walks. And I'm like, Ozzie is having your best at bats right now, something I thought I would never say. But then you saw a little bit more of that throughout the game. And so, I mean, yeah, there were definitely some good at bats, but these were also 2 of the worst pitchers the Braves have probably seen in a while.
Yeah, I do think Michael Harris, I'm hopeful that he turned a corner. He goes 2 for 4 in this one. Not all of the at-bats were still, beautiful. I'm thinking about that 8th inning. He singles, but he's down 1-2 because he swings at a changeup way off the plate outside. But for the most part, Michael Harris shows a little bit of progress today. I still like him being in that 9 hole right there in front of Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm hopeful that he turned a corner here. I'm not convinced that it's true, but I can't get over the way this one ended. I mean, it's I know we keep coming back to that, and that's where everybody is, but I don't know how you rally from this and how you move forward from this. And what I think the worst thing here now is they have to get on a plane and fly a couple hours out west. And so you have to kind of sit with this, and you kind of have to live with this for a couple hours until you get to your hotel. I just don't know what to do from here. I don't know how to move on from this.
I don't either, Lindsay. And I've been sitting here trying to be the calm and collected one as much as possible. It's early in the season. We've seen crazy things happen. They've won 20 games in a month before. I am teetering on the edge of just blow it up because this is just really, really hard to watch. And I've said all along, there's no way they fire Snit. And as I've said in this podcast, I don't think this game is on him. It's on the players. But what else can you really do? What else can you really do at this point? And again, I'm not calling for Snit to be fired, and I don't think they're going to. It's just as we keep saying, I mean, either these guys are going to figure it out and turn it around, or it's going to be a very wild offseason where you will see them make some significant changes. And that just seems to be the direction that we're headed.
Yeah. I mean, I can't necessarily imagine, like, something has to change after today. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll find out, I'm sure, either tomorrow. We'll find out next week. But it feels like something's definitely going to change. The question is going to be how big are the changes?
Yeah. If you want to try to salvage the season, you got to shake things up. I know you just got rid of a third base coach, but player-wise, I think you have to go out and try to shake things up, whether that's calling up Kimbrel. I don't think that's going to do much. Going to find a trade for something, somewhere, somebody, but you've got to try to shake things up if you really want to have a shot at turning things around this season, because the vibes are just not good. You lose a game like this, get swept like this, the vibes are just not good. You had to do something to try to shake things up.
The vibes are atrocious. This has been the Braves Postcast for Thursday, June 5th. Again, 11-10 Braves lost to the Diamondbacks. Did not think I'd be saying that when the 9th inning started. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, leave a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live to break down whatever this was the next time it happens. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been Braves Postcast.